Joining us in the live lounge here at PF International now, a man who won the GP plate in Junior Max back in 2007 and now running his team very successfully, Andrew Tooley of Tooley Motorsport. Andrew, thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you.
Let's talk a little bit about the team, because you obviously restarted it about a year or so ago now, and clearly going very well. I mean, just went down to find you there, and a lot of karts in the awning, so tell us how it's going.
Yeah, so we restarted it I think it's just over 1 year, maybe yesterday.
Yeah.
Restarted it again, figured out I was enjoying the sport again the last 2 years, sort of had a bit of a break, 2 years, maybe two and a half years working abroad, which was good, sort of learnt a lot, you could bring that back, good experience. Worked with a few manufacturers over there, which was nice. And then restarted the team, slowly built it up, thought, we'll keep it quite small, one van, one tent, and it went well, and more inquired, so we just took them on. So obviously you've had to get a few more members of staff. Harry Webb works on board, does a really good job with it all. So yeah, it's going well. Got a good amount of numbers, just running Junior Max and Senior Max. There's a bit more time in the tent as opposed to watching Mini Max, everything else. So yeah, it's going good. Doing a few more results, a few more wins, but we've had a few wins and some good results.
And how's it going so far this weekend? Of course, we're getting into the afternoon of day 2 racing here now.
It's been a bit up and down. Clark was unfortunate in junior. He was very fast, like his single lap with doing the average laps. His best, his single lap was the best lap in that session. So he ultimately fastest, which was good. But he got the lap taken away through an incident. So that was a bit disappointing. A few of the others, quite good qualifying. A few of the practices, they were fastest or first and second. So it's been strong. The seniors are getting there, good improvements with them, which for them is always good. Jackson had a really good heat yesterday. Best I've seen him drive in a long time. This morning with the mixed grids, it brings another element into the equation, a bit of fun. Certainly you've got to be good at coming through, stuff like that, which I think sometimes with the kids now, when it's qualifying, it's a bit too easy for them. Once you're at the front, it's easy to race, whereas if you're setting off last, you've got to be good at passing, and that's how they used to do it when I raced. And it was good. So yeah, it's going well. Hopefully we have a better afternoon. We've had one of the other juniors that's just joined on board. He had quite a good heat before. Cooper had a brilliant one, getting 22 positions in his first heat today, which was very good for him. So yeah, it's going all right. Hopefully better this afternoon and see what tomorrow brings.
Well, let's talk about that year you raced in, because 2007 was a brilliant year for you, not only in this country, of course, but out of the country as well. I know you had success over in World Finals, but let's talk about the GP plate then. How was your season going coming into the weekend, from what you can remember?
The year that we done Junior Max, didn't do a lot of racing, but we won a few of the rounds of the British. I think we were only off the podium that year at Wigan. We finished 4th, so we were off podium once throughout the full year. And it was always between me and Luke Varley, who was really good. And I think we ended up finishing 2nd in the British, but we only done the British Champs. I think 1 club race here, and then Kartmasters. That was, that was our budget for the year. Obviously we've done Kartmasters. I think we were 2nd in the Prix when it was dry, rained for the final, and quite a dominant win from what I remember. Being from Cumbria definitely helped when it rained for the final. So yeah, that was good. It was only the 2nd time I ever done Kartmasters, so it was nice to win it.
Had it rained throughout the weekend, or did it just rain for the final? From what you can remember?
From memory, being 15 years ago, whatever it was, I think it just rained for the final.
Yeah,
I'm not 100%.
The reason I ask is, going into a massive event like Kartmasters, when weather changes for the final, how do you compose yourself?
In our race, I always got nervous anyway. I think if you're not nervous when you're going out, there's something wrong. Having confidence is good, and you can still be confident but be nervous at the same time. But I was always nervous, but as soon as you get onto the track, you're fine, you've settled in, and then you just crack on with it. I think from memory, I had a good start, and then that was it. Just gradually move forward, pulled a gap. It's quite a relatively stress-free race, I think.
And tell us about some of the other names that were racing in the Class 8 year. Do you remember a few of the other?
Like I say, my main competitor, I think Luke probably finished second.
Yeah.
Luke was very strong, good all year. He always had good results in other classes, and he'd done really well for himself. Sure, Joe Riley was that sort of year. He always was strong. Had a bit of a V8 engine, but it's a running joke we always have with him. And Daniel Lloyd, maybe.
Yeah.
A kid called Kenny Andrews is sometimes strong, especially at Buckmore.
So that'd be Dan Lloyd, touring car racing.
Yeah, Dan Lloyd was in touring car. Trying to think who else there was.
Yeah.
It was a good year. A few of them, it was the years before that there was a lot of bigger names in Minimax and stuff, but they went into like the OKJ, the KF3, so they went that way, and obviously the less budget went to Junior Max. So it was still a hard year, I think. Yeah, a few good names in it.
And tell us about that feeling of crossing the line and winning Kartmasters and celebrating.
It'd be like any other race, obviously.
Family,
It's emotional, and that's what you work for all the time. You're always disappointed if you're second. Probably been a bit soppy at times, over the line, probably shed a bit of a tear or something. But when you come in, I think I was 15. When you come in, you relax, you're happy.
Yeah.
But I think with it being, you gradually pull a gap over a race. The last few laps you settle down. Keep it safe. The win's in your hands. So it wasn't like a last lap. Big reaction, but yeah, whenever you won a race, it was always a very nice feeling. Which is the same feeling now when any of the kids win a race that race for me. It's you get the exact same feeling, so it's brilliant. But it's an emotional roller coaster, even if you race yourself or off track.
I know we didn't do live streaming back then, but did you ever get a chance to watch it back through like a highlights package or anything?
I think it used to be on Motors TV. I think, but yeah, not 100% to be fair.
Yeah.
I'd say 15 years ago.
Yeah, it's a long time.
It was a while ago. But yeah, it might have been on Motors TV. Before that, years before that, I'm sure it was on Eurosport. So it was always well published.
Yeah. Well, it's been obviously, of course, you had to stop after that. Similar situation to myself. I know you were diagnosed with epilepsy and you had to stop, but a good year to end on, really, wasn't it? Winning.
Yeah, it was good. It was after I come back from the World Champs that we got diagnosed with epilepsy, but the World Champs, that was my fault. I went for a silly move and crashed in the pre-final. I think at the start of the back and then come through. We were fast, but. It was my fault. At the time, obviously, you argue it, and it's completely my fault. I think I tried to go around the outside, actually. But, if the kids heard that, I'd probably get crucified for it. But it was definitely my fault. Sort of threw a big chance for the budget we were on. It was my first time going abroad. It's stupid, really, but hindsight's a wonderful thing, and you learn from these things.
That's it. I'm sure it's something you can use as a team manager now, I guess.
I messed up, so you better not.
Yeah, that's it. Well, I know you've got to get back, so we'll end with our question of the day, which we're asking to everyone. So if you could go back, and it can be since you've raced, if you could go back and race in any Kartmasters, in any class, which would it be and why?
Obviously, I would never want to go back and race against any of my lot, stuff like that. But a year that stood out for me, I think it was the only other year that I'd done it when I was in cadet. And there was like the Baz Lammers, Ardigo, Jason Parrott, he'd done it, Serenetti.
Yeah.
When they'd done the Formula Libre class, they were all factory drivers. When you're in cadet, you think they're all gods.
Yeah.
So that was brilliant to watch. To race at that level, that's like racing at the best level in karting. So, that's something that always sort of stuck in my mind, seeing them good people come around one of your local tracks. That would be the only one, really.
Yeah.
So it would be fun to race against some of my kids, obviously, but you know, that's definitely one that stands out. And just the pedigree that was there was ridiculous.
There's been so much of that over the year at Kartmasters, isn't there? But
yeah,
it's great to look back on all those. Drew, thank you very much for speaking to us. I know you've got a lot to get on with, so we'll leave you to get back, but best of luck for this weekend.
Perfect.
Thank you very much for joining us. Cheers.